An old man stands alone in the sanctuary, his body frail, his voice trembling. He has spent his entire life serving God, guiding his people, waiting faithfully for a promise he was never sure would come true. Then one day, God answers him in a way that leaves him utterly speechless, literally. A miracle so unexpected it takes away his ability to speak for 3 days. This is the story of Prophet Zakariya, a man whose patience was tested for decades, whose faith never broke, and whose story holds a lesson every single one of us needs to hear today. Stay with me till the end, because what happens to his son will change how you see impossible situations forever. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story like this one. If you believe these stories deserve to be told, tap the like button right now. It truly helps this channel grow. Who was Zakariya? Zakariya was a righteous prophet and priest living in Jerusalem, devoted to guiding his community and worshiping God with complete sincerity. He was married to Ashba, a woman known for her piety, who came from a respected lineage. Despite their devotion, one thing was missing from their lives: children. Year after year passed, and Zakariya and his wife remained childless. In their culture and time, this was seen as a heavy burden, sometimes even a source of quiet sorrow. But Zakariya never lost hope in God, even as old age crept in and his body grew weaker. The guardian of Miriam. Zakariya's role in this story goes beyond his own struggles. He was chosen as a guardian of a remarkable young girl named Miriam, who would later become the mother of Prophet Isa. Miriam was raised in the sanctuary under Zakariya's care after her mother dedicated her to service in the house of God. Zakariya would visit her private chamber to check on her well-being, and it was here that something extraordinary began to unfold. Each time he visited, he found her supplied with food, fruits that were out of season, nourishment that had no earthly explanation. Astonished, he asked her how this was possible. Miriam answered simply that it came from God, who provides for whoever he wills without limit. The prayer of a desperate heart. Witnessing this miracle sparked something deep within Zakariya. If God could provide impossible things for Miriam, why couldn't he grant Zakariya the one thing his heart longed for most, a child of his own? Standing right there in that sacred space, Zakariya turned to God in prayer. He described himself honestly. His bones had weakened, his hair had turned white with age, yet he had never been disappointed in his prayers to God before. He explained his fear for what would happen to his family and his community after he was gone, since he had no heir to carry forward his mission. He asked God for a son, one who would inherit his role, and continue the work of guiding the people. The answer that shook him. While Zakariya stood praying in the sanctuary, angels called out to him with news that would change everything. God had accepted his prayer and was giving him glad tidings of a son named Yahya. This child would be unlike any other, confirming the truth of a word from God, becoming a leader, chaste in character, and a prophet from among the righteous. Zakariya could hardly believe what he was hearing. He turned to God, almost in disbelief, and asked how he could possibly have a son when he was already an old man and his wife was barren. It seemed physically impossible by every natural standard. The sign of silence. God's response to Zakariya's astonishment was profound. He reminded him that creating a child is easy for God, who created Zakariya himself when he was nothing before. To give him certainty, God granted Zakariya a miraculous sign. For 3 days and nights, Zakariya would be completely unable to speak to people, despite being in perfect physical health. It was not a punishment. It was a token of divine promise, a sign meant to turn his heart entirely toward devotion and remembrance. Imagine the scene. Zakariya emerges from the sanctuary to meet his people, eager to share the incredible news, but no words will come out. Unable to speak, he communicates through gestures, guiding his community to glorify God morning and evening, overwhelmed with gratitude despite his silence. The birth of Yahya. True to the promise, Zakariya's wife conceived and gave birth to a son. They named him Yahya, a name specifically chosen by God himself, one that had never been given to anyone before him. This child grew up to become one of the most righteous prophets, known for his wisdom even from a young age, his gentleness, his piety toward his parents, and his role in preparing the way for another great prophet who would come after him. Zakariya's decades of patience, his unwavering faith even when the odds seemed impossible, were finally rewarded in a way that became a lesson for all future generations. What this story teaches us today. In 2026, so many of us are waiting for something. A dream, an opportunity, healing, a family, a breakthrough that seems far out of reach. Zakariya's story reminds us that age, circumstance, and logic are never barriers for God. He prayed even when his body had grown frail, and hope seemed unreasonable by every worldly measure. He didn't stop asking simply because the answer hadn't come yet. And when the answer finally arrived, it came in a way more beautiful than he could have imagined. If you are in a season of waiting right now, let this story be a reminder to keep asking, keep believing, and trust that timing is not in your hands. Prophet Zakariya's life teaches us that faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when the situation looks impossible. His patience, his humility, and his son Yahya's incredible legacy still inspire millions of people around the world today. If this story moved you, let me know in the comments which part touched you the most. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that God's timing is always perfect. Subscribe for more powerful stories of the prophets, and I'll see you in the next one.